Welcome to writingalong.com. Today's episode is all about, is your writing formulaic, and can you answer that question? Not many people are going to readily admit to it, like, oh yeah, my writing just follows a simple formula. Some people might, especially if you're just beginning. When you're beginning actually writing, you're a little more honest with yourself. The deeper you get into the writing journey, the more you need to kind of dedicate time aside and really mentally associate these parts of improvement as being necessary in your writing. But when you're beginning, you have this luxury where you're incredibly honest, and you may think, yeah, my writing's kind of formulaic, very much so actually, and I want to do something about it. This happens when you start out because most people seek some form of writing advice, some sort of direction, and they follow it to a T. You're great at following advice that you believe in, that you believe has your intentions, your greatest intentions in mind. And here's the thing, a lot of things do, and not just in theory, but I'm talking to people who are making these things, really do want the best for you. But sometimes that may look horrible. That may harm you, that may harm others. I would think of it as a country with a very powerful army, and they really think it's in their best interest to, I don't know, commit some kind of crime against, I'm not even talking about externally, I'm talking about people within their own country, and say, oh, this is for the best of everyone. And yet in their minds, the people who are saying that, they legitimately might be believing or subscribing to some ideology where that matters. Apply that to whatever you want. This isn't a political spiel at all. It's just really kind of stating something. If anything, just acknowledging the human side to this, to writing advice. And when you follow it too closely, and that person that you're following is saying, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to follow this exact formula, your writing is going to be formulaic, right? And that's not your fault. That's not something you could even always avoid. But it's definitely a phase that you'll go through, because when you want to learn something, you learn from someone who's kind of been there, someone who's done it, someone who's, and again, that other part too, they want the best for you. And again, a lot of the times, they don't know they're doing it, but they're kind of setting you up to be formulaic. And what does that look like? Why does that happen? It happens because it implies that writing is something that can be limited and just stuffed in a box. It's like writing can just live in this little house. This is the house of writing, and nothing leaves it, nothing enters it. And I'll tell you about what's inside, and you can build your own house of writing. It's not like that. It's more like the air. It's more like what's around you. It's more something that you breathe in, something that you breathe out. It's something that is essential, that gives life to others, that gives life to you, gives life to me as I'm speaking about it to you. How else do you record 100 videos on writing advice if it doesn't give you some kind of life, right? Or if I don't see that there's some kind of audience that needs something like this, that is dying. But people want to be a writer. People want to write their thoughts, their emotions, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing about the world. And the way to get there isn't always clearly defined. It's almost never clearly defined. So I want to create some kind of path for you where you can know and have all the resources that you need to proceed forward on your own, which is where a lot of the greatest writing development happens. It really does. The moments where you pick up on your own style and you develop on what works, what doesn't, what's powerful, what's not, what you're satisfied with, what you're not. A lot of those moments happen alone, and they usually happen after little parts of guidance, little bits of mentorship, little pieces that you can start applying. Keep in mind, a lot of writing stuff you keep in your head. It's not a toolkit where you just pull out and you're like, okay, time to do this, time to do that, time to do that. Or let me just do all of this and build it from this way. No, it's like, it would be like you're writing a song, and someone gives you all the melodies already, and it doesn't work like that. You hear them. If music is in you, you hear it in your ears. It comes to your mind organically on its own, and you bring it forth through instruments. In a sense, you're If you're singing, your voice is your instrument. If you're writing, your words are your instrument. They're creating something. And that's precisely how I want you to see it. You've heard formulaic music. It follows a strict pattern. And sometimes it accomplishes whatever it needs to accomplish. It's just background noise. It's just, that's all it is. But it can be infuriating if it's just repeated too much, which is not what I think you want to be as a writer. I have a feeling you don't just want to write just for the sake of it. I think you have something to say. There's something boiling inside of you, something that is just, it wants to burst out of you. And you're just filled with this idea, with multiple ideas, and they're floating, they're bouncing off the walls of your head. And not even just your head, all of you, you feel it in you. How do I get it out? Is there some kind of formula I can follow? And you might, when you do that, when you follow them, your writing appears stale. Because you didn't actually give it any. You filtered it too much. And yeah, it got out of you. Yeah, you did release it. Guess what? Mentally, intellectually, creatively, you let it out. But you know what? You didn't let it out onto the page. It's back out there. Oh, it's not contained in you anymore. Guess what? So I bet you someone else was able to get that idea. Because you couldn't utilize it correctly. Because you didn't know how to. You didn't know what to do with it, and you lost it. There's a lot of ideas that you lose. You can never get back to. You might have started a story or a novel, and guess what? You lost it. You left it. You let it die, and it's never coming back to life. So now it belongs to someone else. Someone else had that idea. It came to them, and they were able to put it on the page. Why? Because they understood that writing isn't meant to be filtered so much, or it hardly really. It's something that will flow. It's something that will surmount whatever it needs to be as it's coming through you. And it's pretty much the opposite of formulaic when you're doing it right, when you're doing it in a way that isn't necessarily tied to any specific rule book. There are no rules to writing. You can write nonsense. You can just draw symbols on top of words, and it just have this page. It's like it just looks like a painting. You can say this is writing. Cool, good for you. It is. That's a lot of thought right now. People are breaking free from a lot of constraints. But the thing is, when you break free from something, there's no map anymore. There's nowhere. There's no one telling you what to do, where to go, and it's a little scary. And you don't just want to follow anything. You want to learn from someone who figured it out, usually through a little bit of pain they had to endure on their own. They've been able to figure some things out. A lot of things I didn't figure out on my own. Are you kidding me? I learned from someone else who had to experience it. And because of that, I'm really grateful. It's helped me in my own life, in things I've been wanting to do and accomplish. And with writing, I wish I could say, I saved 10 years for myself because I just listened to this person who taught me everything. No, there was a lot of that, and that's not what this video is about. This video is about you and how you can apply this stuff. So to really make sure that your writing does not prevail in this essence of formula resembling drivel, you've got to stop altering your own self-expression in your mind, not even on the page, in your own head. And to do that, you just have to have in your head that you don't have to. You've got to let go of that idea that there's a specific way to write. The only thing that I really preach as far as writing, do people understand you? Does your audience know what you're trying to say? Are you making your audience work too hard? Why do I say that stuff? Because I don't want you to lose your audience before you even begin. I don't want you to have no audience. I want you to have people who are able to understand you, who are able to connect with you, who you've shown respect for them. So therefore, they're going to show respect for you. They're going to give you time, the time of day, and hear what you have to say. Because what you can say as a writer, if you already have writing in you, if you feel these ideas coming through you, but you just can't give them a voice all the time, that's a great sign. And guess what? If you care enough, you're not going to just be laid to waste one day and you're just going to be idealist, no, nothing else coming to you. No. It's happened before. If it's happening right now, it's going to happen your entire. It's going to keep happening. Why? Because you're absorbing from the world around you, which is a hell of a lot more. You can say it's finite, you can say it's infinite all you want, but it's a hell of a lot more than just you are in your human body, just in your brain. And you're taking from that well that never ends. And that never ends as far as you can see, right? I can keep looking and it seems to never end to me. Philosophically, fundamentally, who knows? But it's a lot more than just you. You become a little more selfless. You become a little more aware of these things. It's writing advice. It's not writing commandments. Maybe there's some that I would say are important, but I'm not commanding you to do anything. I tell you all these things in the writing advice series because simply hearing it goes a long way. Simply knowing this goes a long way in your writing. And if you're interested, like I said, in writing a book, check out How to Write a Book in 30 Days, the 10-part guide I have on my website, completely free. Highly recommended. I'll see you on the next episode, and thanks for stopping by. Answer yourself this question: is your writing formulaic? If so, why do you think so? Do you think there's something else you'd like? Is there another way you'd like it to look? Is your writing formulaic? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Again, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate your time.